What's going on, everyone? So it's been a minute since I've last shared a training video like this with you, but as of right now, I am getting right back into the groove of it. I've admittedly spent the last several weeks working on a separate big project that's taken the majority of my attention outside of my coaching work. Anyhow, I'm back on the channel here to share how things have been going thus far as I'm getting to the last week of my maintenance block before getting into the heart of my competition prep diet. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my latest training session and share my exercise technique and personal progress insights with you along the way. Before we dive in, if you find yourself enjoying the video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Okay, let's dive in. Deficit Bulgarian split squats are up first, and I'll tell you, these never really get any easier. As far as my training technique goes, my intention is to move as low as I can go with control, pause for a split second at the bottom, deep position, and then push up on the explosive side. By elevating my front foot, I'm able to move a bit lower, which might be making the exercise a bit more stimulative for muscle growth than if otherwise. It definitely feels harder that way, that's for sure. From my experience, and maybe you can relate to this, these are one of the most difficult lower body exercises out there. The good news is you don't need to include them in your program to build your lower body. A combination of other exercises can hit all of the same musculature. I personally like including them because of their efficiency. They hit the quads, adductors, glutes, and even part of the hamstrings all in one movement. And on top of that, I simply like the challenge of them and the amount of tension I feel upon doing them. As I get deeper and deeper into my prep, I know that I'm going to struggle with these both physically and mentally. Shoot, I'm probably going to struggle with them emotionally too, let's be real. But I'm ready for it. Bent over dumbbell rows are next. Funny enough, I think these have become my favorite back exercise. Over the past few years since my last competition season, I've been putting an extra emphasis into building my back in particular, more specifically my traps, since they were visually one of the weakest parts of my physique when I was on stage last. To work on the weak point, I've done two things in particular. First, I have added a little bit more weekly set volume to that muscle being my traps. And second, I've really tried to hone in on my exercise technique and get a better mind-muscle connection with my traps. In regard to that latter point, I feel like I've really figured out how to move efficiently and optimize my technique with these bent over rows. And since I've kind of figured it out, I've been really enjoying doing them. I think it's kind of how I'm wired, and maybe you can relate to this, but I just love the feeling of tension on my muscles. One thing worth noting on these is that I find that as I've got leaner during my pre-prep diet, I have to be careful after I finish a set not to stand up too fast because I get super lightheaded when I do. And as I get deeper into my contest prep diet itself, the official one that is, I know that lightheadedness will only get more extreme. So I'm going to be careful that I don't stand up too fast so I don't find myself toppling over after every set. Seated dumbbell lateral raises are up next. Like my traps, my delts were a noticeably weaker part of my physique from my last competition season, so I've been giving them a bit of extra attention over the past few years too. I found that lateral raises are one of those exercises that are just super easy to go through the motions with and not get a good stimulus. It can be easy to move with too much swinging or to not train close enough to failure. That last point was always a challenge for me. Having an understanding of where my failure point actually is, especially if I'm moving in a way that's inefficient and where I have poor mind-muscle connection. Over the past few years, I feel like I've kind of cracked the code on that though. What I found works best for me is to set myself into a position where I can be really particular about where my scapula is kind of sitting and making sure that I arch my back a little bit. Using a slight incline on the bench helps me with finding the sweet spot there. When I move, I aim to move with zero momentum or swinging, and I mean zero. I'll aim to pause at the top of each rep for a second and move with tons of control. I aim to move in the way that puts the most stress and tension on my delts. I'm less focused on really how many reps I do and more focused on how much tension I feel across the set or over the course of the reps that I do end up doing. The goal is to stop the set only when I can't tolerate the tension any longer. Cable rows are next. This is another movement meant to add more set volume for my traps. One of the general observations about exercise technique I've made over the past several years is the value in moving with precision. I love that word, precision. As a younger lifter, I would have done these with a lot more swinging and kind of loose body English. The more unprecise technique definitely led me to build muscle. There's no doubt about that, but I found that aiming to move with more control and precision, that the movement feels significantly more efficient and more stimulative for muscle growth. Now, what do I mean by efficient? I mean hitting the exact muscle I'm trying to target, having a super strong mind-muscle connection with that muscle, and ensuring that it's that target muscle that fails at the end of the set and not something else, some other muscle. For these cable rows, I try to minimize all unneeded swinging, move slow enough that I can feel tension exactly where I want on my traps pretty much throughout the entirety of each rep, and especially at the bottom of each rep, and I pause both at the bottom and top of each rep. I'll almost always finish the set with partials after the point where I can no longer do any more full range of motion reps. And flat dumbbell bench press is next. The same principles of moving with control and precision that apply to all the other exercises in this training session, I try my best to apply to performing these. Funny enough, around 6 weeks ago, I experienced a little injury on the lower right part of my rib cage when I was squatting. It happened when I was just warming up, I think because I was wearing my lifting belt too high. Anyhow, that left me with a nasty little pain for around 4 weeks that I had to work around. The exercise I felt the pain the most with was these bench presses. It forced me to have to lift a little bit lighter and to be even more mindful about the amount of control I was moving with and the amount of precision. Moving with any real excess of explosiveness would aggravate the pain, so I really had to be careful. It's funny though. I think that injuries are often a blessing in disguise, since sometimes they force you to change the way you move in a way that improves the efficiency of your technique overall, to move in a way that actually hits your target muscle more precisely. The rib cage pain is gone now with these, thankfully. And on a positive note, I think I'm moving with even better precision and efficiency than before. And that's the training session. Only one more week of this maintenance block before I start my official competition prep diet. And from there, my physique is really going to start sharpening up. I'll be honest, a big part of me is super excited to jump into it, but another part of me is a little bit reluctant about it. I'm excited about the prospect of getting leaner and getting closer and closer to being stage ready, and of course, for stepping on stage itself. But I'm reluctant because I know that the sensation of growing hunger and lowered energy levels that are going to accumulate over the coming months, it's going to be tough. The plan is to just take it really one day at a time. I'm fully committed, so no matter how tough it gets, I'm planning on just putting one foot in front of the other and moving forward. I'll share my progress with you and more updates as the weeks and months go on from here. Now, just before getting to the end of this video, I wanted to quickly let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos, recording podcast episodes, or making Instagram content, I work full-time as an online physique coach where I help my clients to accomplish their fat loss and muscle growth goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition, and I coach them through the process. I've been doing this work for over 7 years now, and I love helping my clients to transform not only their bodies, but their entire lives. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, you're invited to hit the link in the description below to learn a little bit more about the work I do and how I can help you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching, please email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.